James was a mixed red traffic engine. He loves the pulling coaches and freight cars. But sometimes he being swanky. Sometimes he been teasing other engines, especially the small engines. Look at me now. I'm a smart engine and red engine on the line. Lily and Doug were cross. Silly James, how could be swinging like that? Said Duck. James must be a bossy boiler, said Lily. Well, James had been show off like that, but how? The other engine is trying to think about ideas, but they don't know how. Meanwhile, James, however, he was on time and smoothly. Later that night at the sheds, Duck told Donald all about the plans and playing a trick on James. Oh hey, he'd been cocky sometimes, but we don't know. The engines try hard, but it was no use but until Sir Top had arrived at the sheds. Good morning, James. I had an important assignment to do. You had to pull some goods trains and take to the figures town. Goods trains? But sir, I had to pull coaches, or somehow, instead of pulling trucks. Well, James, you don't like your pulling cars, I know. But there's a changing plans and any jobs. Edward was taking passengers today, and Henry was taking goods trains to Figurstown to the mainland. So you had to do it in very slightest way. James felt anger. Soon James arrived at Nafford's yards and picked up the freight cars. The troublesome trucks started giggling, but James didn't take no notice. Soon, James went up the hill. The troublesome trucks made their plans. And the troublesome trucks push him down the hill. Stop! Stop! Cried James. Ahead, there was a sharp curve and a garden and a greenhouse, but James couldn't stop in time. James went off the rails and smashed into the garden site. Sir Top had arrived at the scene. James, this is really catastrophe. First, you smashed to the greenhouse and the field. Now, I had to pay the gardener for the new greenhouse and fences too. After you mend it, you will stay in your shed. Yes, sir, I'm sorry, sir. Well, James. Swinging about ended up into the accident by the garden catastrophe. But James didn't say nothing. As he went back to work, he apologized to Lily and Duck. It's alright, James. Everyone made mistakes. And James could hardly agreed.